I think that some of the young guys are not done with the 90s. Cooper Flag had a great training camp for the American team. USA camp. They showed some highlights and stuff like that. Highlights are my favorite thing. Nobody ever misses. Nobody ever looks bad. They pulled him to the side and they asked him some questions. And one of those questions got him into a lot of trouble.
Michael Jordan, he's the GOAT.
Best WNBA player of all time.
Super.
Best basketball team of all time.
85-86 Celtics.
Best defender of all time.
Kawhi Leonard.
Best coach of all time.
Greg Popovich.
Best Jordan basketball sneaker of all time.
Jordan 4 is the Pirates.
What's your pregame hype song?
Fanita.
What's your name and where are you going to school?
Cooper Flag, and I go to Mount Academy or Duke.
Let's play it one more time just to make sure we get.
Best NBA player of all time.
Michael Jordan, he's the GOAT.
Best WNBA player of all time.
Super.
Best basketball team of all time.
85-86 Celtics.
Best defender of all time.
Kawhi Leonard.
Best coach of all time.
Greg Popovich.
Best Jordan basketball sneaker of all time.
Jordan 4 is the Pirates.
What's your pregame hype song?
Fanita.
This is interesting.
He really from Maine. That's really what that concerns
I have
me.
a take, but I'm gonna let you finish. But that's interesting.
Really, a lot of people were up in arms. They called out the indoctrination again. Why is this kid saying that the best team of all time is 85-86 Celtics, and why is he saying the GOAT of basketball is Michael Jeffrey Jordan, especially when some of the other younger kids
wearing black and red at the draft, right? Jordan wore black and red as a member of the Bulls. Here's my question, unrelated to that. You're young. Older people, young people often have this LeBron and Michael conversation. I'm not going to ask you who's the greatest because that's old. But because you've been in Michael's presence and because you grew up liking LeBron, as a young person, do you feel like that conversation is just overdone?
No, because I actually don't think LeBron is, the GOAT of basketball. I think my GOAT of basketball is Paul George. I always grew up watching him, so it's never just LeBron.
That's it.
Okay.
True or false? He said bet.
Also, some of the younger generation, they have different answers. Like this
is on the steroids. You're talking about skills.
What are you talking about?
I'm talking about best player.
Kobe has 5 rings. What's your argument?
All around.
And I'm saying all around. Kobe Bryant. Bro, it's LeBron.
Okay. No. If we're talking about skill, KD's 4.
Nah, I ain't gonna lie. Skill alone, KD's 1. KD is 7 feet. I can do everything Steph Curry can do. Come on, man. There's nothing you can't. Come on, boy. Competitive nature, championship. There's a lot of stuff that goes into it.
Okay.
These kids got MJ as their GOAT. A lot of people were cooking Cooper Flag on my TL.
I'm surprised he didn't say Larry Bird. I ain't gonna lie.
I think that's a weird thing to do to cook Cooper Flag for that. One, because he clearly is just being, in his opinion, objective about the sport, because he then goes on to say the best coach is Greg Popovich, a coach from, I would say, more modernish era. And if that doesn't work, saying Kawhi Leonard's the greatest defender of all time is definitely a modern answer. So he's already 2 of 4 there. On top of that, I think it's ultra lord weird that you have this "we done with the 90s" movement, a movement centered around of nah, nigga. We the generation that can watch film, and you lied to us. Now, what if someone watched the film and said, nah, nigga, actually, you niggas is lying, and this nigga Michael Jordan's a dog? So, like, it's almost like we're mad that he did what you guys want everyone to do, which is watch 90s basketball, but because he didn't reach the conclusion that it's overrated, you got upset. Now, if you're challenging the just sheer fact that, hey, there's no way he saw these teams, there's no way he's done his homework, there's no way he's watched Michael Jordan, I mean, dick move, but I guess I don't know what to tell you, but I'm sorry that he doesn't have this, in my opinion, brain dead but inspirational take that like Paul George is the GOAT, or that LaMelo Ball's the GOAT, or some shit like that. Like, I apologies that he doesn't just have a my Nindo, my hero ass take, and he just spoke objectively about the sport. It's kind of weird.
I don't even think he spoke objectively. Again, like I said earlier, this just showed me how much he really is from Maine. He said in another clip the reason why he thinks the 86 Celtics, I believe, is his best team of all time is because he was raised by his dad, who watched, like, really big Celtics fan. So just think about it. White kid from Maine that comes from a Celtics household. Why the fuck would he think LeBron's the GOAT? That makes
I
no
was just
sense.
and to piggyback off what Souls saying, I mean, it's disingenuous for anybody to have this take if you don't know anything about Cooper Flagg's basketball opinions or mine. If you've never heard him talk about basketball, well, how the hell do you know he's just faking? Because if you sit the kid down and the nigga is a basketball history book, which again, I know that's uncommon, but nigga, we know Eli. Like, what the fuck? Like, we know young niggas who genuinely love basketball. So it might be uncommon, but it's not impossible. It's not unheard of. There are young people that do their homework. And I would just feel if you had that opinion that, oh man, Jordan, the 86 Celtics, really? Go back and see if you can find any interviews or any conversations of him talking about basketball and fact check him. Because if in those same conversations, he's telling, like Soul said, he's explaining why he thinks the 85, 86 Celtics is the greatest team because he was raised in a household of a Celtic fan
that do not like LeBron.
Like, it makes sense. I grew up in a household of a Laker fan. I grew up with that. Like, and now guess what? I'm a Laker fan. And I grew up watching the Lakers. My grandfather would tell me about the old school Lakers and Knicks. My uncle would tell me about the 90s Knicks and the 90s Lakers. My dad would tell me about the 2000s Lakers. My stepdad told me about the 2000s. Like, he forced me to sit down and watch 2000s Lakers basketball. Like, when I get older, like when I was a younger guy, when I was a young kid, and I'm telling niggas why Kobe's my GOAT, half of it is because I sat down and was forced to watch Kobe play anytime he was on TV. That's what I was raised to do. So it's disingenuous.
I think the difference is, though, what you watched is definitely closer. And I mean, Damo, you're an older guy, right? Like, you're like, what are you?
You old niggas.
I'm younger than you. You're a year younger than you. A year younger than you.
24?
Yeah, we can go with that.
Okay. The producers are telling me, what's that? The producers are telling me it's much older, but I think the problem is that people have, like, with this, is that with what you saw was kind of fitting your timeline. Like when Kobe was winning his first couple of rings. I mean, not saying you were totally cognizant you was watching all 82 games like you're watching now, but you kind of understood and you were watching it and it was your version of basketball. And then when he won his rings in 9 and 10, like, you definitely understood what was going on. You understood, you were coming up, you were relating to that age of basketball. For Flag, playing the style of play that he plays today, and then is sitting down with his pop. Come here, son. Put that ball down. We're going to watch this. Look at that solid two-hand chest pass from Bird to McHale. Look at that. Look at how spaced out they are. Best spacing in the league at the time. I think that it just looks...
Probably what they did.
I'm not saying that sounds like a nigga with a dad. Like, I don't... surprise. As a nigga with... Oh, go ahead.
We're saying that he has eyes. It's hard for people to believe, like, yo, it's crazy that he is doing something so different, having these abilities, all this stuff like that, skill level, basketball looks so different, and he is a part of that. And he goes back and says that this totally different era of basketball that looks different is what I can relate to.
People hate on the current generation.
I mean, and again, I will say this. On one hand, I will give you that. There are probably teenagers that when their parents are trying to put them on the old school shit, in one year, out the other, because they only care about their shit. But on the other hand, because I was that guy, that kid back then, when my elders, my older cousins, my dad sat down with me to watch ball, I soaked in the information. I enjoyed it because I enjoyed that time with my father. That's crazy. I enjoyed that time with my father, and I use that as learning lessons. I love basketball, and he's telling me about the game from back then that I was not there for. So I only have it from his standpoint, my grandpa's standpoint, and I took it serious. To think that Cooper Flag couldn't have been a guy that plays modern basketball, but when he gets home, him and his dad bonding over eating dinner, watching old Celtics games, is something he genuinely took serious and grew up with that standpoint. I don't think that's far-fetched at all. I do think a lot of the people that are upset with it, Sorry, man, you was raised in a single mother household and your mom didn't care about basketball.
Oh, what
I
the
don't know
hell?
what to tell you.
Oh my God.
That's what I'm gonna go with. It
Why
sounds
was-
like it sounds that's what it sounds like. It sounds like niggas can't relate. That I relate to that. Like when someone said that, I was like, okay, that makes perfect sense. Actually, that genuinely makes a lot of sense. I can relate to that.
Damn.
A lot of niggas can't relate, and that's tough.
That's
Dear
not,
Fuck
mama,
him. Yeah.
I don't
not a real feeling. I don't know. I guess.
I mean, to your point, I mean, if you want to make the case that he was indoctrinated into the belief that Michael Jordan is the GOAT, it still aligns with everything that we said.
Yeah,
It does sound like he was indoctrinated.
Had a
I'm
dad.
just saying, I don't have a problem with it because that's just
because he has a dad. Because he has a dad.
no.
I also think it's crazy that this is combo god, bro. What if he just watched the shit and said, "Yo, Michael Jordan's the fucking GOAT"? Whoop-de-doo. Well, what if he watched the shit and say, "Hey, I don't want to tell you, them boys in '85, I think they're the best." What?
I think the reason why is because we also have the take of, I think collectively, of like Hoopers don't watch ball and have the conversations that we have. So majority of their answers, even if it is Michael Jordan or LeBron, is gonna come from like an extremely casual lens. That's why Brandon Miller said Paul George is the GOAT. So
But you know what's funny? But then somebody like JJ Redick will sit down and have ball conversations like Swiper. So I mean, it's pick and choose which ones you want to talk about. Now, if you want to say, I mean, it is just JJ Redick, I guess. But there are basketball players who genuinely can sit down, talk advanced analytics, talk advanced stats, can have the conversations like the basketball fans. Richard Jefferson is another one that can sit down and have these conversations like the typical basketball fan. And then there's Brandon Miller's and Kevin Durant. Hey man, he a hooper. Is he a hooper or is he not a hooper? He a hooper. It goes both ways.
Cooper Flag, you saying all that right now, gang? One more year, he's gonna be playing Bron. Let's see the GOAT then.
Never mind. He takes answer in 2027. Yeah, it's LeBron.
Yeah. Last thing, because we didn't talk about this before. You know, when we were talking about the Olympic team, they played Canada yesterday.
Oh yeah, that did. happen.
I forgot it happened for another reason.
Oh,
God.
I was about to
So
say.
much going on during that game.
I was saying, was it bad? Like, did they?
I don't know.
Nah, I got you. I got 3 letters for you about
I
that
was doing a
game.
watch party with something else, man.
Yeah, facts. So much was going on during that time. Who could watch basketball? But no, I got 3 letters for you that I got about that game. ICE. I'm calling ICE. We need to deport Joel Embiid. I've been waiting for this.
Oh wow.
Oh, what the
He needs
hell?
to be deported. He's not. I've been on this whole tirade this whole
Take his
week.
citizenship.
Embiid, he shouldn't have citizenship. Embiid shouldn't be on the team. I've been said that. When I seen the roster with him on it, I said this is disgusting. Outside of the fact that he falls in the same category as Kawhi Leonard, which is why is this hurt ass nigga on the team right now? Because you were just injured playing playoff basketball. Why are the Sixers allowing this to happen? I also have the fact that this nigga stinks. Not only is he out here playing unethically against the USA select team, you out here got Cooper Flag and Jalen Duren, you're foul baiting them. You double down by being stinky on the court. Who fouls out of a USA Canada game? What? This guy stinks. Get him out of here. Somebody direct me to the first line of getting the number for ICE. Get him out of here. Send his ass back to Cameroon to play for them, because that's where you should be.
I'm not gonna
Cliff
lie.
Farm,
Not top 3 to you no more, man.
He's not top 3. He's top 5. I got, I'm going to keep saying it, Jokic, Luka, Shea, Giannis, a.k.a. Greek Angel Reese. Then we got Embiid.
Tatum.
Tatum 6.